Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is your daily go-getterism number 697 for August 30th, 2016. Tonight, I want to talk to y'all about trying not to raise a thug or trying to deal with the thug that you've raised. And I hate to put it to y'all like that, but it's a serious thing, and it's something that we have to deal with out here. Our kids don't always do everything that we want them to do. Sometimes, regardless of how well we tried to raise them, regardless of what we've done for them, regardless of the things that we've exposed them to, sometimes they're really just influenced by the streets. And once your kids become influenced by the streets, they may start sliding down that road, and it's a really tough road to try to bring them back from. Particularly if you've always had one leg in the streets and the other leg in the home yourself. And I hate to put it like that, but that's just the reality of a lot of people's situation. We have a lot of people out here who have been in the streets and they have recovered from the streets. They made it through. Maybe they made it through because they were scared straight into doing the right thing, or maybe they just had the ambition to turn the street game into a lucrative legal business that would ultimately save their life or preserve their life for a later time. But a lot of us have given up the streets because we went to jail. And we didn't like jail, so we didn't want to go back and forth to jail. It wasn't really about that life. So we decided to take our smarts and basically get clean, stay clean. Here's the part about when you've had one leg in the streets, one foot in the streets, I should say, and one foot in the house. That residue from the streets, from your street life, will carry over to your children. And this is going to sound crazy to y'all, but I believe that, thugs make thugs genetically. Because you can cite environmental factors, but what about the fact that there are so many people out here who grew up without the influence of their fathers, for example? They grew up without their father in the home. They grew up without their father in their lives at all. And they still wind up becoming just like their dad. So let's say their dad was always going back and forth to jail, couldn't stay out of jail to save his life. And now your son is starting to live that same kind of life, being hard-headed, knuckle-headed, and running back and forth to court, facing incarceration every time you turn around. It's tough. You know what I mean? And you can't say that it was because his dad taught him that, because he wasn't there. So it's a crazy situation, but genetics and spirituality and the spiritual energy just really plays a hell of a part in some people's lives and the way we turn out. The most unfortunate part about that is because of this phenomenon, many of our young people precede their parents in death. The reality of the streets is that there really isn't too many exits out of the street besides jail or the grave. And unfortunately for many of our street people, the grave claimed them. And I'm not saying that it would have been better if the parents died before their children, but what parent wants their children to precede them in death? You want to follow the timeline of age when it comes to when we depart from this earth, So what do we do? What do we do? How do we save our children from the streets? How do we save them from ever getting out there in the streets? Like I explained before, it's a tough thing to have to deal with because it's all in our music and all in the media. We glamorize rappers who go to jail, rappers who get shot. As much as we talk about Tupac, he got shot 5 times first. to jail after he got shot 5 times. Came home. Made 2 albums. Was shot 4 times and died. Yet we glorify his life like, I'm not saying that it was his fault he got shot or is it his fault that he got killed. But when we look at an example like that, you have a lot of young people out here who weren't alive or were so young when Tupac got killed that they don't understand the trouble that he went through. So they glamorized the things that happened to him and martyred, they sort of made a martyr out of him. But I was alive. I'm a couple of years older than Tupac, and I see what happened for what it's worth. He was a gifted, talented artist, but he set a bad example for our youth. And he's not the first one to set a bad example for our youth. A lot of these successful rappers have been shot. Look at 50 Cent. I followed 50 Cent's career before he got shot 9 times. And he was not blowing up like that. He gets shot 9 times, gets picked up by Eminem and Dr. Dre, and the rest was history. Our young people see that, they don't know no better. They think that street cred is the thing that's going to get you through in this industry. Because they dumb, they young, and they don't understand shit. So it's up to us to make sure that they understand things as best as possible. But we have to also understand that a lot of the things that we're going to tell our kids are going to fall on deaf ears because they ain't trying to hear it. They think that they know. They think that they understand some things that we don't understand. And that's when things really go bad. So the best advice that I could give you on how to keep your kids out of the streets is expose them to things. It's not going to save them. It's not going to guarantee. I can't guarantee you that it will save your kids from the streets, but I'll tell you this. It's really hard to make it in the streets with a lot of book knowledge. And I'm not bullshitting. If you have a lot of book knowledge, if you've been exposed to a lot of things in the world, been places and stuff like that, the corner is going to be a very lonely place for you because you know shit, you understand shit, and you understand that the world is bigger than this corner. So the stuff that you have to talk about, you're not going to fit in very well with the rest of them thugs. You're not. You ain't going to fit in. They're going to be looking at you for sideways like, yo, this nigga ain't keeping it 100. He a nerd. And a nerd is a good thing to be if you want to save your kids from the streets. So fill them up. Fill them up. Plenty of stuff from books. Plenty of stuff from plays, art, the sciences, theater. Believe me, they'll think that they're fitting in, but they going some intelligent bones gonna fall out of their mouth, and they ain't gonna fit in. And that should let them know that they can do better than what the streets have to offer them. I can't really tell you too much more on what I think you should do. But education is the thing that'll keep you out of the streets. Lack of education is the thing that makes the streets the only viable option. Think about it. If you were smart enough to make it out there in the corporate world, you think you would choose the streets where you gotta run from the cops every day? Be going back and forth to jail all the time? Having rival drug crews or whatever, after you? If you're like a gangster, you ain't gonna be out there gangbanging. I ain't trying to lose my life over nothing dumb. So try it out. Tomorrow night, well, let me put it to y'all like this. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when it comes to trying to keep your kids out of the streets, trying to keep your little wannabe thug kids out of the streets when they wasn't raised that way, fill their head with knowledge so they don't fit in with the thugs. Give them something that the thugs can't relate to. And that they are so saturated with that they can't help but display it all the time, and that might keep them out of the streets. It might. It's not a slam dunk, but try it. Of course, that means you're gonna have to work too. That is what it is. Tomorrow night on the Urban Therapy with Son show, that's what I want y'all to check out. Urban Therapy with Son number 195. And we're talking about parents, children, and the Plan B pill. So tomorrow night, we're going to ask the question, what would you do if your son or your daughter came home and said that they had sex last night or the night before, and they slipped up and had unprotected sex, and they think that either they are pregnant or that the girl that they had sex with might be pregnant, and they need you to buy the Plan B pill? What would you do? What would you do? Would you rush right out and get it? Would you hesitate? Would you freak out, lose your mind? Would you contact the parents? Would you have a fit? Would you refuse to buy the pill? What would you do? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Because there's so much that goes along with that. Because, you know that your child is out there having unprotected sex. And, pregnancy is one thing. STDs are another thing. And all of this stuff starts to hit home for you. And it's wild. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow night. So get with y'all. Get with us. Get with us. It's going down on the Urban Therapy with Son show tomorrow night. August 31st. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 347-677-1533. blogtalkradio.com/Son752. Holla at us. Get with it. And I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.